Every gamer goes through certain phases of gaming, and one that it seems like a lot of us return to is the dump 40 hours into Skyrim over the course of like a week phase. I hadn't been in the world of Skyrim since the last Skyrim video I made, which was a while ago, and when I returned to it a few days ago, I felt something that I'd never really felt while playing a video game before, and that was, this game doesn't need me. Now that might sound stupid considering Skyrim is a video game and it doesn't really need anything, but what I mean by that is it felt like Skyrim hadn't stopped living and breathing while I was gone. It's weird, most games feel frozen when you leave them, like everything's just stopped behind a pause screen, mid-breath, waiting for you to come back. But when I opened Skyrim again, I didn't feel like that. It felt like I was showing up late to something that had already started without me, a world that kept on spinning while I was gone. The wolves still roam the same areas, the bandits still have the blind courage to attack a god among men, and the guards still say the same stupid stuff.
What is it?
What the fuck are you looking at? Some people might be discouraged by these things, that the world of Skyrim always feels pretty much the same, but I found it kind of comforting. That being said, I'd like to take a little time today to celebrate Skyrim as we approach its 14th birthday. That's crazy. So sit back, get cozy, like the video, and let's talk about Skyrim. Over the years, Skyrim has often been described as a shallow experience, and frankly, I get it. I do. The combat isn't really all that special or complicated, the magic is pretty straightforward, and level scaling prevents things from ever feeling extremely easy or overly difficult. But where Skyrim finds more success than other similar games is in its ability to make you feel like the world you're in just doesn't need you. Modern RPGs center heavily around the idea that choice matters, letting you shape every inch of the world. But Skyrim never pretended to be about you. It doesn't bend around your morality or your alignment, it kind of exists. Now, to be clear, the story of Skyrim isn't at all what accomplishes this feeling. In fact, if it wasn't for your character, the Dragonborn, then the entire world would almost certainly be boned. The dragons are coming back to life, Alduin wants to eat the world, and there's not really anyone else who can solve that problem. Well, there might be a few others that could make it work, but like an MCU solo movie, when the world is at risk, it seems like everyone else is just busy. The story of Skyrim, the main plot, absolutely needs you, but let's be honest, is the main story of Skyrim what everyone remembers?
Chops and steaks fit for a Jarl. Come and see my selection of the finest quality meats.
The people of Skyrim obviously are not alive. I'm not that crazy. They're just walking lines of code. But man, if you showed this shit to a pilgrim, they just might think that they are looking into another dimension. Think about it. Every person in Skyrim, completely independently from the player, is living a life. Let's take Hod, for example. Hod lives in Riverwood. Hod isn't alive, but he is living his life. Hod has a wife. Hod talks to his wife. Hod has a home. Hod sleeps and chills in his home. Hod has a job. Hod does his job almost every day. Hod has a limited amount of dialogue, but assuming you're not sitting there milking his conversations over and over, Hod would otherwise seem like a real living person, almost indistinguishable from you or I. And that is something I think people remember about Skyrim. Every NPC is controlled by what Bethesda calls the Radiant AI system. This is the system that essentially controls what NPCs are doing at every hour of every day. It's why the NPCs feel alive, and though it isn't perfect by any means, and sometimes it just fully breaks or loops in kind of weird ways, it achieves what it set out to, and it does create a world that feels lived in. And this doesn't just go for the friendly village folk, the same goes, for example, for the random bandits littered around the world as well. They're bandits. They will attack you if you get too close, they'll fight off other mobs that threaten them, and whether or not you're there to encounter them, they're there, sitting by the fire, living their life.
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only.
Ah, a letter from the Jarl. Moving up in the world, eh?
Looks like that's it. Got to go.
I mostly deal with petty thievery and drunken brawls. Been too long since we've had a good bandit raid.
Skyrim's biggest achievement is its ability to create seamlessly living creatures that all have realistic behaviors. Well, mostly.
I know some of it looks like junk, but everything's a treasure in the right light.
If I try pickpocketing someone and fail, they'll get pissed. Hell, they might even start calling for guards to come help. And those same guards will be a little on edge if I walk up to them with my weapon drawn or my hands burning, ready to shoot a fireball.
Guard might get nervous. A man approaches with his weapon drawn.
And if I do fire off a ball or let out an ancient and powerful shout, people are like, whoa, what the hell, dude? A guard might even come and tell you to quiet down if you're not careful.
I need to ask you to stop. That shouting is making people nervous.
The characters, again, for the most part, seem to have rational feelings and reactions to events that either you make happen or happen around them naturally.
Oh, this pendant would look lovely on my head.
Is someone there? I die for my people.
That event is scripted. It happens in every playthrough. But what's really neat about it is that you have a say in how it ends. If you react quickly enough, you can actually save Margaret from being killed. Or you cannot. Again, while the world of Skyrim may need you, the game does not. The event happens when you enter the city, sure, but before you do, folks are just in there doing their own thing. It's like Schrodinger's city. Same with Rogvir's execution. I don't know Rogvir, I don't care about Rogvir, but when I watch him get his head chopped off, I'm left thinking, damn, wonder why that happened.
On this day, I go to Sovngarde.
I'm left wanting to learn more about this world that has clearly been existing without me. Another aspect of Skyrim that really feeds into this idea that the game is independent is that it has all sorts of history. And I don't just mean the actual lore, the Septim Empire and shit like that. I mean that there are locations in Skyrim that have lived and breathed without you already, and you can learn about it if you dive deep enough. There's an infamous Skyrim quest that deals with an abandoned lighthouse. There's a whole mystery to unpack here, and I recommend checking out Mr. Holotape's video covering this quest, but essentially there's some dark events that have happened in this lighthouse, and the player can follow breadcrumbs to uncover what went on. This quest, while incredibly dark and spooky, is a great example of how Skyrim's world feels lived in. It feels like even when you weren't here, shit was already going down. Exploring Skyrim feels less like writing your own story, and more like discovering someone else's. Every ruin, every burnt journal, every forgotten shrine, they are all reminders that you are just the latest in a long line of wanderers. And that's what I love about Skyrim. It's not just there to make you feel powerful, which it does, but it's also there to make you feel small. You aren't always important, but if you want to be, you sure as hell can be. The Dawnstar Waking Nightmare quest is another good example of this. The NPCs in the town of Dawnstar have all been plagued with terrible nightmares, and pretty much any character you run into will, in some way, bitch or whine about this. It's clearly having an effect on these people, and if the player manages to resolve things and bring an end to the nightmares, then the people of Dawnstar will just keep on. And when you leave Dawnstar and you turn the game off, and when you sell your Xbox 360 and your copy of Skyrim, the people of Dawnstar may not actually be there anymore technically, but if you stole your Xbox back and booted the game back up, there they'd be, living as if nothing ever happened. Free from their waking nightmares because of you, but living their life all the same. Skyrim just doesn't need you, and it doesn't feel like it needs you either. The player's input on the world around them seems like it should have a major effect. I mean, shit, you can become an archmage, the leader of the Thieves Guild, the Whisperer, the deciding factor of the Skyrim Civil War, or, of course, you could fulfill your destiny as the Dragonborn and put an end to Alduin's plot to destroy the world. But what if I just wanted to be like Hod? What if I just bought a house, got a job, a wife, some kids, and spent my days doing some blacksmithing or something? Well, that's the beauty of Skyrim, because regardless of what you do, the world keeps on turning, and it can essentially do so forever. Some video games end when the main story reaches its conclusion, but some games like Skyrim just end when you're done, and when you get back, it'll be there, same as it always was, same as it always will be. Though it may feel like Skyrim doesn't need you, it also feels like it's never done with you, and again, I find that comforting. Let's take a step away from the story or gameplay elements of Skyrim's independence and look at its actual design. Skyrim's architecture always left me, even as a little kid who didn't give a shit about architecture and probably couldn't spell the word either, curious about how Skyrim's world came to be exactly how it is today. And something really neat is that you can find all sorts of books in the game that talk about the history of specific landmarks or whole areas or even specific structures. They all have a history, and when you see these places, they sure as hell look like it. The people also carry this same consistency. People dress warm, they keep fires going in their homes, even when they're sleeping, which is kind of dangerous, probably shouldn't do that, but hey, you gotta stay warm, it's cold out there. Every inch of Skyrim feels like it was built for the people who live there. The thick walls, the flickering fires, the heavy furs, it's not just like the fantasy aesthetic, it's functional. You can feel how cold the world is. Like I said at the start of the video, when I returned to Skyrim just recently, it was a new and unique feeling, as if something had changed. But when I got through the intro and returned to Riverwood for maybe the 1000th time, I realized that the game hasn't changed at all. But I had. I've been playing Skyrim since I was 12. I learned how to read and write the fucking language that they put in the back of the guidebook. Hell, I wrote a paper at school once in that language, and my teacher thought I was crazy. And I was crazy. That's a crazy thing to do, but that craziness gave me a sense of yearning, a yearning to explore, to adventure, and to, in some way, own the world of Skyrim. But now I'm 26. Video games these days are often made to be more gratifying and rewarding to the player in a more timely manner. I don't have to load into Skyrim and create a new life and get settled in, discovering and learning things about the world around me, but I could, and maybe I should. Skyrim hasn't aged perfectly, but somehow it's aged with me. I see different important aspects of it now that I'm older. When I was 12, I played it to escape the world. Now, I play it to remember what that world I escaped to felt like. The mountains I climbed when I was a kid are the same mountains now, only this time I noticed the quiet more than the battles. Skyrim going on without me made me realize that maybe I've just been letting games play themselves for me. Shit, maybe Mega Bonk is bad for my brain. I've been playing a lot of that, but who am I kidding? Mega Bonk is amazing. If you haven't played it yet, you really need to do that ASAP. But the point I'm trying to make is this. In the same way a book will always retain the same words, the same story, the same intro, rising action, climax, falling action, and eventual conclusion, Skyrim will do the same. Skyrim will always be Skyrim, and whether this makes it unique or not is kind of up to your interpretation. But I'd say the way Skyrim manages to build a world that feels so real and lived in is unique. It is special. Though again, I can get that it feels pretty shallow. I get why people get bored of Skyrim. I get why people say it's overhyped, and I get why people think it's time to move on from it. But regardless of what you or I think, Skyrim exists. Its people exist. Their jobs, their day-to-day lives, they all kind of exist. With or without you, they remain. And that, folks, is why Skyrim doesn't need us, but why we could all use a little more of Skyrim. Folks at home, thank you so much for watching. I know this video is extremely different from what I normally make, but this is the kind of video I've been thinking about making for a long time now, and it feels good to try something different. And honestly, the video practically made itself. I really did play Skyrim the other day, and it really did leave me inspired to talk about this topic almost instantly. And hey, the timing worked great because Skyrim's birthday is quickly approaching, so why not celebrate it a little bit? If you had fun watching this video, I'd love if you left a like and subscribed. I say this in every video these days, but liking videos really does matter in the new YouTube algorithm. As for me, I will return to Skyrim again someday. But for now, I think I've got some more Baldur's Gate action coming up, and who knows, maybe we'll see another Bethesda IP show up on the channel sometime soon. That's it for me, folks. Thank you all so much for listening to me talk about a game I love. I hope to see you all again soon. GG's, everybody.